Someone must extinguish thy flame. Let it be Margit the Fell, lowly tarnished.
Renala of the full moon.
If I lose it all, lose it all. If I lose it all, to make me fall, I will never look away. If I lose it all, lose it all, lose it all. If I lose it all, outside the wall, to die another day. I don't want anything, just you take.
So, I've been playing FromSoft titles since I first touched a PlayStation 3 with Demon's Souls way back when I was really young, back before I could even tell you the story of Metal Gear, and way before I had really even known what I was getting myself into. No, I didn't buy the game. My cousin got it for me along with Infamous 2, and I ended up putting the game down after a good 2 days of dying and losing, making new characters, and not really knowing what to do or where to go from where I was. The game's intricacies are so forthcoming, and it doesn't really tell you what to do, and that's okay. I wasn't, I was literally a kid. It was I had no idea how to play a game like that. But, things change sometimes, you know what I mean? When I was around 13 or 14, I played Dark Souls 1 for the very first time on the Xbox 360. The story, the gameplay, the pure excitement and rush I got from beating my first invader to facing Artorias for the first time, only to fight Manus 15 minutes later. This game was no game for the faint of heart. It wasn't a game for people that are so used to being guided by the developers and all these signals to tell you where to go. This game had two objectives: ring the two bells of awakening, and that was it. How you did it and what order you did it in was completely up to you. This was a real challenge, a full reality of excitement and terrifying fun, like throwing yourself into a gigantic pool of flaming coals. Dark Souls was the first real experience from a FromSoft game that I had really had. After beating the game and 100%ing and getting all the achievements on Xbox 360, I went out and I bought Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, which was probably the most overhated game I had ever played. Even my friends that had played with me on Dark Souls 1 didn't want to play Dark Souls 2, and I didn't really get it because, I hadn't played the game yet. And so I wanted to see what the problem was, and truthfully, there wasn't one. There really wasn't any problem. This game just seemed to broaden the scope for the Dark Souls titles, and it really cemented itself as one of my favorite games of all time. From the main story to the disgustingly hard-ass DLCs, Dark Souls 2's gameplay was so fun and so enjoyable that it hurt me that I wasn't able to really play another From Software game until I went and got a PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 was the console for me. Coming back to my roots as a kid playing PS2, Need for Speed Carbon, Def Jam, Fight for New York, PlayStation 4 was just the right speed for me. It had the perfect interface and everything. Bloodborne came out shortly after I got the PS4, and when I tell you that I had never played a harder game, I had never played a harder game. The countless hours that I poured into Bloodborne, the shattered controllers, the unending array of happiness when I finally slayed Gehrman, being washed away from me as the moon presence descended onto the battlefield, defeating Lady Maria by myself, only to get destroyed by the Orphan of Cause, which literally took me around 230 tries to finally defeat him. It was such an unreal game, and I didn't think FromSoft would ever be able to replicate such a title. And it really, that was the game that sucked a lot of time out of my life. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That game and Gary's mod. Anyway, Dark Souls 3 would come out shortly after, and it was not a disappointment. I really was kind of waiting for another FromSoft game. But when I tell you that, it was literally for, it was basically Dark Souls for casual players. I'm so serious. I mean it. The game was good. The story was phenomenal. The DLCs were so much fun to play through with callbacks to previous games. It was a really fun and exciting game, but the only issue for me is that it was so easy to play through the game. Beating the game only took me a couple days, and before you ask, yes, I am a difficulty snob. If you can't beat a FromSoft title without an easy mode, you're a coward. and you need to just get better at the damn game. Dark Souls 3 being an absolute fucking cakewalk didn't ruin the game for me, but it just kind of lowered my expectations for the next game. It was like I was playing through a game that was like Advanced Warfare or just like a normal ass Call of Duty game. Like it felt, the gameplay was good, but it felt like I was playing a faster Dark Souls 1, and I didn't really like that. Like by no means it wasn't like a shitty or bad game, but it was like, this is not what I've known Dark Souls for. I've known these games to be extremely unforgiving and hard, and that's what I wanted. I wanted the game to be unforgiving and hard. I didn't want it to be like, I guess, just a game that felt easy. I didn't want it to be easy. Anyway, a little bit later, FromSoft announced Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which was very unexpected. A game like Sekiro was like trying a different topping on your pizza, only to find out it's the sweetest, tastiest, and most satisfying thing you've ever, tasted. Sekiro changed the landscape for FromSoft titles, from its amazing and breathtaking visuals, crushing difficulty, to its masterful story that Miyazaki flexed his creative muscles on. It was completely uphill from there. And then the news that there wouldn't be a Dark Souls 4 really hit me hard. I didn't want to believe it, and then boom.
I doubt you could even imagine it. That which commanded the stars, giving life its fullest brilliance. The Elden Ring. Oh, Elden Ring. Shattered by someone or something. Don't tell me you don't see it. Look up at the sky. It burns.
Elden Ring. What? La voy a verlo. Nej, Namco. Okej, FromSoft acá.
If you were there, I don't blame you for how excited you were. Just watching this event live and seeing From Software coming with a new title was absolutely fucking insane. Like, how could they top what they put out? How? Like, how? That's how. Elden Ring brought forth everything we've seen in every single game and combined it into one, and somehow even made it more original than the originals. Elden Ring is the game we've been playing for so long, yet it's only come out a couple months ago. This game's storytelling, visuals, and its gameplay is beyond perfection. And I don't care what other games come out this year. I don't care about fucking God of War. I don't care about how much Call of Duty has made in the past year. I don't care what Fortnite skins are coming out. I don't care. This year is Elden Ring's year. I have attempted a few games from Software, like Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Demon Souls. Combined, I probably would say I have less than an hour of playtime, so I can't say that I've truly experienced the beauty of Soulsborne titles. What turned me away from the games was the difficulty and losing all of your currency when you die and having to start over. So when I read that Elden Ring was made by the same company, my interest went from 100 to 0 real quick. But then, the official gameplay reveal threw out a reverse Uno card on me. Finding out that it was open world was all I needed to hop on the hype train with the veteran players. So I've been losing interest in video games over the past 2 years or so. The unfortunate and controversial release of Cyberpunk 2077 and the pandemic has caused games to be delayed in fear of not meeting expectations. A blessing and a curse because we want the game now, but in the end, it'll be worth the wait. Elden Ring is a perfect example of why it is so important to take your time to meet and deliver the expectations that they presented with us during the time of initial reveal up to the release in February. I have never disliked the Soulsborne games. I knew that they were amazing games, and I never questioned why people love them so much and why they are so highly rated. Elden Ring had one important aspect that kept me from giving up. Open world RPG. I love role-playing games. Being able to create your own fantasy character and have a different variety of playstyles is just great. For me, I'm trying to be like Doctor Strange. So of course, I decided to go with the Faith/Incantation playstyle. I read that this is the easy mode in From Software games. And well, to quote, Stephen A. Smith,
We don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
because I was still getting my ass beat since I am new to this whole genre of video games. What actually kept me hooked to this game is the open world Elden Ring offered. Being able to explore and play the game how you want with no right or wrong way is what I truly love about it. It's wonderful. Hearing the put these foolish ambitions to rest over and over, I'd say at least 50 times, was a humbling experience if I had to say so myself. It was even harder for me since I was doing a faith build, which requires positioning and knowing how to dodge in a timely manner, which were two things I didn't possess. I never noticed how bad my reaction time was until I played Elden Ring. What I did not do in comparison to other From Software games was I just didn't give up. The more hours I sunk into Elden Ring, the better I got. Dying was not frustrating for me at all anymore. Every death allowed me to think more and process what I needed to do to defeat this enemy. After about 130 hours, I beat the story and it felt amazing. Looking back at how I struggled with Margit in the beginning is embarrassing to think about, because if I had the knowledge and skill that I have now, Margit's ambitions would have been put to rest after the very first encounter. Elden Ring has become one of my favorite games of all time, and I've loved every second of it. The exploration, the open world is massive and every area felt different. There were so many things to discover, and it encouraged you to take your time as you progress through the game. The combat is very challenging but very rewarding after you defeat that one boss you've been struggling with for hours. Elden Ring taught me how to be more patient when approaching an enemy, as timing is so important in Souls-like games. What separates a good game from a bad one, though, is customization and how drippy I can get. I spent hours trying to find armor sets simply because I wanted to look good, not because of the stats. Now, this is coming from a person who has never played any of the FromSoft game, but Elden Ring has set a new standard when it comes to open world games, and games in general. Any open world game that comes out will now be compared to Elden Ring. I hope this also shows what a completed game looks like. Elden Ring had content that would be considered DLC in any other game. Elden Ring has influenced me to play all the other FromSoft games as well. I'm now currently playing Bloodborne, Demon's Souls, and Sekiro, and I regret not playing these games sooner. If there's a new player watching this and is still hesitating to try out Elden Ring because of the difficulty, stop what you're doing and go play it. Those are the words of my friend Anthony, and thank you so much for that, for the contribution to this video. He's a great guy. At some point I plan on making more content with him, but I don't know because my work schedule is so fucking bad. But I have my own words that I'm going to say, but this is from like a veteran standpoint rather than somebody who doesn't really play Soulsborne games, or he's playing them now, but you know what I mean. Anyway, Elden Ring's gameplay isn't directly methodical, hard, or easy. It's kind of intermediate, to put it into easy words. Once you learn it, you got it. Adding extra things like spirit summons when you don't have people to play with is nice. The way you switch weapons with 2 buttons instead of 1 is a little wacky, but I got really used to it pretty quick. I really do like how shields feel, though. They feel so viable in this game. Like in other games, some of them felt good, but a bunch of them felt like shit. In this game, I feel like I'm holding a wall. And I can't tell you how the amount of times that I put my shield up to perfectly block an incoming attack. It's so satisfying, and it honestly brings me back to Dark Souls 2, when the PvP was pretty fun and slow and kind of methodical in a way. See, when I wrote this video, I didn't even fucking finish the game. I had just barely finished the game about a good month and a half ago, and I wrote this video good like 3 months ago. So honestly, when it comes to the story, I can't say much because the story is a little hard for me to fully understand, as I had done the Rainy questline, and the story is filled with twists, turns, different, but all in all, it's a masterful and enjoyable story. I personally believe Elden Ring to be Miyazaki's magnum opus apart from Sekiro. This game's story is also influenced and aided by George R.R. Martin's design. And I know this is the same guy that said video games can't be art, but helped make one of the fucking craziest and most encapsulating games on this planet of this decade. And it's probably a bold statement to say that, but shit, can you blame me? Play the game. See how just fucking grand scale of how insane and just the grand scale of insanity that this game like fucking pushes on you. I don't think I could talk enough about the world of Elden Ring. It's divided into, I believe, 4 different areas, which are Caelid, Limgrave, Liurnia, Altus, and Reyndell. Those are all the main places in Elden Ring, and it seems to be constantly expanding as well, with places like the Halig Tree, the Volcano Manor, Stormvale Castle, Railucaria Academy, Castle Morn, Siofra, and Ansel River, and the list goes on and on. There's even more places than that. These places have all like such a very rich lore that steepens the game's atmosphere and makes the game so much more entertaining. And as you play, you learn more and more about these places as time goes on. I could go even deeper into detail, but we'd probably be here for a long fucking time, and I'm not Mauler, so I don't make long videos, or I try not to make long videos, you know what I mean. In conclusion, to me, Elden Ring is a game that is like Shadow of the Colossus meets Dark Souls meets Bloodborne, and then has a crazy affair with Sekiro, and is in like some weird poly relationship, and they just kind of all have this crazy fucking love child, and that baby is named Elden Ring. I can't begin to tell you how amazing this game is. You have to play it for yourself. You have to. This game is insanely hard, and it's not forgiving. It beats you until you can't stand, and then fucking tells you to keep walking. And what kind of game does that? A FromSoft game. This is what I've been waiting for them to come out with. A real challenge. A real hard-ass game that constantly gets better. So in the final conclusion to my video, Quantum TV is very wrong. And this game quite literally is, to me, and probably to a shit ton of other people, game of the decade. Elden Ring is holding the fucking championship belt above its head and flexing its big muscles, and it's just, my god, it's amazing. I can't begin to tell you, I mean, I just did tell you a bunch of times. I keep saying I can't begin, but I begin, and I do. This game is insane. If you want a fun and hard, challenging game, but also a beautifully crafted and wonderfully masterful type of video game, RPG, open world, whatever the fuck you're looking for, Elden Ring has it, and Elden Ring's offering it in a fucking bulk. So, you know, go buy yourself a copy, go play the game. It's so fucking good. I'll see you all in the next video, and I hope you guys did enjoy. Goodbye.